Greetings everyone, welcome to Chess Advance. This game was played in US Chess Championship. With the white pieces, we have Wesley So facing off against Sam Shankland, and this game is going to be one epic game. Believe me, you're going to love this one. So without further ado, let's start with this game. Here Wesley starts with e4. We have c6, d4 and d5. We're going to the Khan. We have e5 now, going for the advanced variation. Bishop to f5 and now just going for h4. This is the Tal variation, and normally in Tal like structures, wherever you see this h5, you want to actually give your pieces some room. Playing a move like c5 makes sense in this position, but h5 was played, and now just comes c4. We have e6 and just knight to c3, and here we have d caps on c4. Bishop captures and just knight to d7. And now what do you do in this position? Here just developing moves. Calm move, knight g to e2. Calm before the storm, because here just bishop to e7, and now just comes g3. We have knight to h6, and now you could go with the bishop back here, and there are a lot more moves that you can play. You can also go for a move like castles in this position. That's fine as well. g5 will come most likely, because you can see that the bishop and the queen also pushes that pawn forward. And here if you go for h caps on g5, then just comes bishop captures, and you can see that bishop capture, those bishop pair and knight and the queen are everything is coming here, and all you have to do is get the king castles towards the queen side, and your position would be absolutely fine. And if you go for bishop captures and queen captures, here you can see that this is already looking very ugly. Queen to c1, you're going to have to play this queen to g6, and now just comes knight to f4 attacking the queen all the way back to g8, and after knight to g2 you play a queenside castle. And yes, this is going to be really devastating for white, because you can see that the queen is already eyeing this, bishop is already eyeing this, knight can jump into the game, the rook can join in. This is not a position you would want to have with the white pieces. But after knight to h6, hey, bishop to f4 was played, not going for all of those craziness. Queen to b6, and now just comes castle. We have a queenside castle, and the thing is that now this position seems not that bad, because here a4 a5 is the threat, and you can push the queen out, but first starting with a move like a3. And now what do you do here? If you go for the pawn, and that's the idea, that is that a poison pawn or is that a normal pawn? Because if you go for the pawn here with queen captures on b2, the thing is that bishop to d3 comes, and now bishop captures, you play queen captures, knight to c5. If you try to go for, your entire position would fall apart, and the move is not at all easy to find, because the move that you want to play in this position is queen to f3, and it makes all sense once you see the move, but before seeing it, it's not that easy to spot, because the thing is that now there are ideas of rooks coming in and trapping the queen. Also your knight is hanging, and if you go for knight to d7, now just comes bishop captures on h6, and even that works. But the thing is that the best move here is rook a to b1. Yes, you can give that up, because if you capture this, then just comes rook to a1, queen to b4, rook f to b1, and now your queen is trapped. Where do you go? If you go for c4, then just comes a rook captures on a7, and now there is nothing that you're going to do to survive this position. Your entire position collapses. Engine is giving it as a almost a rook up kind of evaluation, and it's right, because there is not much you can do. This is coming, I mean, there is just so much happening, all these rooks eyeing all of this, and it's just very difficult to try and do anything in this position. But obviously Sam knows that his position and his king is a little bit weak, so in this position he doesn't go for capturing that. He first plays king to b8. Not normally a nice prophylactic move, but here just comes b4, and what are you doing about the pawn expansion and the pawn push that's going to happen towards your king? But in this position here, you have to be really critical of what you have to do, because if rook to g8 comes, that makes sense. Bishop to h3 makes sense. Queen to c7 makes sense. But the thing is that the move that Sam played in this position, which seems like a normal move, but being too prophylactic can also be an issue. In this position here, king to a8 was played, and now there's trouble, because here you have wasted two tempos pushing the king out of the way. But the thing is that now comes b5, and here Wesley goes for this idea, and you cannot even capture. If you go for c captures on b5, then just comes this bishop captures on b5. If you play a6 pushing the bishop back, first a4, not even bothered to push the bishop back here. After, if you capture the bishop, your entire position falls apart, because here a captures, and king to b8, and it seems like you don't have much. Yes, queen is coming in, and yes, it looks very scary, but the thing is that there's an even better move in this position. I'm going to ask you to pause the video and try and find out the only winning idea in this position, which just completely crushes Sam Shankland. Have at it. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move. The move is this beautiful sacrifice, beautiful Tal move, beautiful romantic move, which is this knight to d5, and there is nothing you can do. If you capture the piece, then just comes queen to a4. This is also an idea. Bishop is covering this. This rook is getting here and covering this. There is nothing you can do. If you go for bishop to e6 in this position, stopping e6, then just comes a rook f to c1. Now queen to a8 as a checkmate threat. You're gonna have to start sacking pieces, and even then it's not gonna be enough. You're just gonna get checkmated, or worse, lose the game entirely in less moves. Then you get checkmated. But the thing is that here after b5 we have knight to g4. Not going for all of this. You cannot capture this, so you have to just develop and try to hopefully maybe sustain and survive. But here just comes a4, and now a5 is coming. What do you do if you don't capture? Here queen to a5 was played. Queen is coming in to stop the promotion of those pawns, and that's really a sad position to have. But now just comes b captures on c6. We have b captures, queen to c1, and now just rook to b8. Finally, rook coming into the defense of the king, but it's very difficult to do anything here. Rook to d1 was played. Now just comes a rook h to d8, and just bishop to a2 back. Knight to b6 now, just trying to develop and maybe have that knight towards d5, or somewhere along the line you want to have the knight to c4, but this bishop is covering it right now, so you cannot have it. But here just bishop to g5 now, asking for a trade. But if you trade more pieces, your position just becomes far worse. But maybe trading was the best move. But now just comes f6, and is f6 going to be a problem or nuisance in this position? But now just comes e captures on f6, and the way to play this is maybe just to go for this knight cap, not to go for g captures. Just knight caps on f6 is the decent idea, because if you go for g captures, then just comes bishop back to d2. There is some discovery ideas possible in this position. Even this is possible. You have to be a little bit careful. Queen to a6 if you try to go for, then just comes f3, pushing the knight back. If you go for knight to d5 in this position, because the problem is the knight does not have any retreat squares and you cannot move it, so may as well just develop the other piece. But just bishop captures on d5, and after c captures, f captures on g4, bishop captures, you have no sufficient compensation for the sacrifice piece, and this position you're just going to be lost. So here after e captures, we have knight captures on f6, but now just comes this knight to f4, and after e5, here just knight to e6. And really kudos to Sam to be able to spot all of these moves, all of these defensive resources he's able to find, and he was able to actually capitalize on that. But the position is far too lost to be able to save him. Even if you play all the perfect moves, Wesley is still going to have nice ideas to be able to crush you, and that's the problem. Here bishop caps on e6 was played, but now just comes bishop captures, rook captures on d4, but now just comes rook captures, e captures, knight to e2, and here queen to c5, asking for a queen trade. Yes, if you trade, your position becomes worse, but just a5, and now you cannot trade. But here knight bd5 was played, but now just comes knight caps on d4, finally just grabbing that pawn. And the trouble is you cannot capture, obviously, because of this, so there is nothing here. Knight to c3 was tried, but now just comes bishop to e3, and here what do you do? The best move here is knight to g4, and it's just very difficult to find this idea, because if you go for bishop caps on g4, now h captures, which is the best move, king to h2, and here just comes rook to f8, trying to create something, but there is no imbalance in the position. There is no way you can have some sort of sustainable idea in this position to be able to survive. If you go for queen to c2, now which is the best move? Queen to c4, then just rook to c1, c5 immediately, knight to b5, and after queen caps on b5, you play queen caps on c3. This is hanging. There is not much you can do. Your king is wide open. Yes, somewhere along the line, even that can be an idea. It's just a very difficult position to survive, and yeah, both players know it. But after bishop to e3, here rook to d8 was played. Now trying to do anything, but here just comes queen to f1, knight f to d5, and here just bishop captures, just finally eliminating that piece. We have queen captures, queen to a6 now, and with that queen captures, the queen jumps into the position, and there is not much to do now. Bishop to c5 was played, defending against everything, but now just comes knight captures on c6, and this is a beautiful idea, because after bishop captures, we have this knight captures on d8, bishop captures on f2, and now just king captures, queen to f5 check. Maybe Sam can get some sort of a perpetual, but this position is far too hopeless for a perpetual, because you can put the king away and there will be none. So here just king to g1 was played, queen to c5 check, king to g2, queen to d5 check, king to h2, and there is nothing you can do. You cannot even capture the knight, because hey, the queen to c6 check will pick up your knight, and I'm up a rook. I'm up a complete rook. There is no way you can survive. And also, it was on this move, on just move 38, that Sam Shankland resigned the game, and Wesley played this marvelous style game where he was able to find all the amazing attacking ideas and won the game in absolute style. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with some of these amazing games. Stay tuned to the channel, stay updated, and I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon. Thank you very, very much for watching.